Welcome back to another episode. Today, we're diving deep into two modern quarters that most people overlook, but serious collectors know could be worth a small fortune. We're talking about the 1982 and 1995 Washington quarters, coins that you've probably handled hundreds of times without realizing their potential value. These aren't your typical rare coins from centuries past, but rather modern treasures with fascinating stories and surprising worth in today's market. Let's start our journey with the 1982 Washington Quarter, a coin that represents a pivotal moment in U.S. minting history. The year 1982 marked a significant transition for the United States Mint, as they were in the process of changing the composition of the cent piece from copper to zinc. While this change primarily affected pennies, it created some interesting anomalies in the quarter production as well. The Washington Quarter itself had been in production since 1932, originally created to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1982, this coin had become a staple of American commerce, with millions being produced and circulated daily. What makes this particular year so special for collectors is the combination of minting variations, errors, and the transitional nature of coin production during this period. What truly sets certain 1982 quarters apart is their composition and minting characteristics. Most quarters from this era were made of a copper-nickel clad composition, consisting of a pure copper core sandwiched between outer layers of copper-nickel alloy. However, 1982 saw some experimental changes and production anomalies that created valuable varieties. The key identifying features collectors look for include specific mint marks, die varieties, and striking errors. For instance, quarters from the Denver and Philadelphia mints show distinct characteristics that can dramatically affect their value. Some 1982 quarters exhibit doubled die features, particularly noticeable on the obverse around Washington's profile and the motto, "In God We Trust." These doubling errors occur when the die strikes the coin multiple times at slightly different angles, creating a noticeable doubling effect that's highly sought after by collectors. The most valuable variety of the 1982 quarter is the no mint mark quarter, which was accidentally produced at the Philadelphia Mint when the mint mark punch was either omitted or failed to strike properly. These coins are exceptionally rare and can command substantial premiums. Another valuable variety is the doubled die reverse, where the doubling appears on the eagle's feathers and the lettering on the reverse side of the coin. Additionally, some 1982 quarters were struck on experimental planchets with different metal compositions, creating coins that weigh slightly more or less than the standard 5.67 grams. These composition errors are particularly valuable to specialists who study minting experiments and transitional coinage. In today's market, the value of a 1982 quarter can range dramatically based on its variety and condition. A standard circulated 1982 quarter with no errors or special characteristics is worth exactly 25 cents. However, the no mint mark variety in mint state condition has sold at auction for as much as $5,000 to $7,000 in recent years. Even in circulated condition, this variety typically commands between $50 and $200, depending on the degree of wear. The double die reverse varieties have fetched impressive prices as well, with pristine examples selling for $1,000 to $3,000 at major auctions. In 2019, a particularly stunning MS-67 example of a 1982 double die obverse quarter sold for $4,320 at a Heritage Auctions event, setting a record for this variety. Composition errors, while rarer, have sold for even higher amounts, with some specimens reaching the $10,000 mark when authenticated by major grading services. What makes the 1982 quarter so fascinating to collectors is the story of its discovery and the ongoing hunt for these varieties. Unlike older rare coins that were recognized as valuable shortly after their minting, the valuable 1982 quarter varieties went unnoticed for years. It wasn't until the late 1990s and early 2000s that collectors began systematically searching through rolls of 1982 quarters and identifying these valuable varieties. This delayed recognition means that many of these coins entered circulation and were handled by the public for years before their true value was understood. There are numerous stories of lucky individuals finding these treasures in pocket change, at bank teller windows, or while searching through coin rolls obtained from their local banks. One particularly notable discovery occurred in 2005 when a collector in Ohio found a no-mint mark variety in a roll of quarters obtained from a local grocery store. After having it authenticated, he sold it for nearly $3,500, turning a simple quarter into a substantial windfall. The condition of a 1982 quarter plays a crucial role in determining its value, as with most collectible coins. For the valuable varieties, even a small difference in grade can result in hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value difference. Mint state, MS, coins are graded on a scale from 60 to 70, with higher numbers indicating better preservation and fewer imperfections. A circulated example of a rare 1982 quarter variety might be worth $50 to $100, while the same coin in MS 63 condition could be worth $500 to $1,000. In pristine MS 65 or higher condition, values can jump dramatically to the $2,000 to $5,000 range or more. The most valuable examples are those with full strike details, original mint luster, and no distracting marks or blemishes. These gem examples are particularly sought after by serious collectors and registry set participants who compete to assemble the finest collections of these modern varieties. For those who might have these coins in their possession, proper handling and storage are essential to preserving their condition and value. Coins should always be held by their edges, never touching the faces, and stored in archival quality holders to prevent damage from environmental factors. Now, let's turn our attention to the 1995 Washington quarter, another seemingly ordinary coin that harbors some remarkable secrets for the discerning collector. While 1995 doesn't carry the same transitional weight as 1982 in minting history, it produced a couple of highly sought-after varieties that have captured the imagination of error coin enthusiasts nationwide. This quarter emerged during a period of high production demands at the U.S. Mint, as the economy boomed and the need for circulating coinage remained strong. The Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints were all churning out hundreds of millions of quarters that year, making the discovery of significant errors all the more exciting for those who find them. The standard 1995 quarter, like its predecessors, featured the familiar John Flanagan design of George Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse, struck in the copper-nickel-clad composition. But hidden within this massive mintage are two specific varieties that transform a common 25-cent piece into a valuable collectible. The star of the 1995 show is undoubtedly the dramatic Spitting Eagle die crack variety. This isn't a subtle doubling or a missing mint mark. It's a visually striking and dramatic error that's hard to miss once you know what to look for. The key identifying feature is a prominent die crack extending from the eagle's beak, making it appear as though the eagle is literally spitting a line of metal. This crack occurred due to excessive stress and wear on the reverse die used at the Philadelphia Mint. As the die aged and deteriorated under the immense pressure of striking millions of coins, a crack developed, starting near the eagle's beak and extending outward. Each subsequent strike caused this crack to become more pronounced, resulting in coins with a raised, jagged line emanating from the beak. The effect is so distinct that even novice collectors can spot it with the naked eye, though magnification reveals the full extent of the die deterioration. This variety is primarily found on quarters struck at the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, though similar, less dramatic cracks have been noted on Denver Mint examples as well. Equally valuable, though far more subtle, is the 1995 Wide AM reverse variety. This variety relates to the spacing between the letters A and M in America on the reverse of the coin. On the vast majority of 1995 quarters, the A and M are positioned close together, almost touching. However, on the Wide AM variety, there is a distinct, noticeable gap between these two letters. This difference stems from the use of a different reverse die hub, one intended for proof coins or possibly for a different denomination altogether, that was mistakenly used to strike some business strike quarters. The Wide AM is much harder to detect than the Spitting Eagle and often requires careful examination under magnification or direct comparison with a normal 1995 quarter to confirm. It's a classic example of how minute differences in minting equipment can create significant rarities. Both the Spitting Eagle and the Wide AM varieties represent fascinating errors that occurred during the high-pressure production environment of the mid-1990s mint. The market value for these 1995 quarter varieties has shown remarkable strength over the past decade, reflecting their popularity and scarcity. For the Spitting Eagle variety, prices vary significantly based on the prominence of the die crack and the coin's condition. Circulated examples with a clear, noticeable crack typically sell for $100 to $300. In mint state grades, values escalate quickly. An MS-63 Spitting Eagle might command $500 to $800, while a pristine MS-65 or better example can easily reach $1,500 to $3,000. The auction record for this variety was set in 2021 when a spectacular MS-67 example with an exceptionally bold die crack sold for an astounding $5,750 at a major auction. The Wide AM variety, while less visually dramatic, is actually rarer and commands even higher prices in top grades. Circulated examples are scarce, but can be found in the $200 to $500 range. Uncirculated examples start around $1,000 and climb steeply. In MS-65 condition, a Wide AM 1995 quarter is valued at approximately $3,000 to $5,000. The auction record for this variety stands at $7,200, achieved in 2019 for a flawless MS-67 specimen. These prices underscore the significant premium collectors are willing to pay for these modern rarities in top condition. What makes the 1995 quarter varieties particularly compelling are the stories surrounding their discovery and the ongoing hunt for them. The Spitting Eagle was relatively quickly noticed by collectors due to its dramatic appearance, but the Wide AM remained hidden in plain sight for years. It wasn't until the early 2000s that sharp-eyed specialists began systematically examining the spacing on the reverse lettering of 1995 quarters and identified the variety. This delayed discovery means that many Wide AM quarters undoubtedly entered circulation and spent years unnoticed in pockets, purses, and coin jars. There are numerous accounts of lucky finds. One particularly memorable story involves a teenager in Florida who, encouraged by his coin-collecting grandfather, started checking the quarters he received in change at his part-time job. In 2018, he found a Spitting Eagle quarter, had it authenticated, and used the proceeds from its sale, $1,200 at the time, to help fund his college education. Another collector in Ohio reported finding a Wide AM variety in a roll obtained from his local bank in 2020, realizing a profit of over $4,000 after grading and auction fees. These stories fuel the excitement and keep collectors searching through modern coinage, proving that valuable treasures can still be found in everyday transactions. As with the 1982 quarter, the condition of a 1995 quarter variety is paramount in determining its value. The difference between a circulated example and a mint state gem can represent thousands of dollars. For the Spitting Eagle, the prominence of the die crack also plays a role. A bold, well-defined crack is more desirable than a faint one. In circulated grades, XF to AU, Spitting Eagle quarters typically range from $100 to $400. In mint state, values jump significantly. MS-60 to MS-62 examples might bring $400 to $700. MS-63 to MS-64 coins $800 to $1,500, and MS-65 or better specimens $2,000 to $5,000 plus. The Wide AM variety is even more condition sensitive. Circulated examples are rare and valued between $200 and $600. Uncirculated examples start around $1,000 for MS-60, escalate to $2,000 to $4,000 for MS-63 to MS-64, and reach $5,000 to $7,000 plus for MS-65 and above. The highest grade examples, MS-66 and MS-67, are true museum pieces and can command prices exceeding $10,000 when they appear at auction. For anyone who suspects they might have one of these varieties, professional authentication and grading by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC is essential. Not only does grading confirm the variety and assign an accurate grade, but it also protects the coin and provides a tamper-evident holder that significantly enhances its marketability and value. Proper storage in a cool, dry environment away from chemicals and physical handling is crucial to preserving the condition and value of these modern treasures.